Hello, my name is John Rose. And in this video, I'd like to take a closer look at what's wrong with the raw vegan diet. Interestingly, there are quite a few things wrong with the raw vegan diet, and I'm going to focus mainly on two main reasons, or two things that are wrong with a raw vegan diet. And for those of y'all who have watched more than one of my videos, you probably already know what I'm going to say. The biggest problem we have with our ideal diet of eating raw foods, raw plant foods, is that it's only our ideal diet in an ideal world. So you hear people saying, I did the 80-10-10 diet and look what happened to me. What happened? There's a lot of reasons. One of the biggest reasons is very few people know how to do it right, and that's what you hear the creator of 80-10-10 say all the time. Well, you just didn't do it right. Well, he's probably accurate most of the time. But there's other reasons why, and that's why there's a flaw in the 80-10-10. There's a flaw in natural hygiene. Most of them don't understand or recognize the ripple effect. Now, more and more people are figuring this out. There are people out there that are articulating this now, and that's what we have to understand too. Is that okay? I tried our ideal diet, but I ate based on what I'm used to eating, and I realized I got to eat like 5 times the volume. Instead of 1 plateful of food at dinner, I got to eat like 5 platefuls. So that's why a lot of people fail. But the point I want to get at here now is that our ideal diet is only our ideal diet in an ideal world. Now we have another group of needs because of the damage we've done, especially to ourselves. So why isn't this diet working for me? It's because you're damaged. You're damaged. You're damaged. You're damaged. And guess what else is damaged? Our society and the environment. So there are a lot of reasons why our ideal diet might not work. Because the world's no longer ideal. We've damaged ourselves. And I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know how you've been damaged. You might be the one out of 35,000 people who can't make any carnosine. I don't know. There's no telling how you've been damaged. We know the environment's damaged. We know our society has spread out and are living in areas that are not really where we're designed to live. So what happens? Well, we're supposed to eat locally grown food, but I can't grow the food I'm supposed to eat where I live. So in our day, we can fly things all around the world. Is that good? What do I do now? These are problems that we all have to understand individually, that we've got to investigate ourselves. So if we've been damaged, we play the biggest role here. We have more at interest in this subject than anybody else. So don't go asking, I've got this and this and this, what do I do, what's wrong? What you need to do is find out yourself. Okay, this organ's hurting, let me find out more about this organ. Okay, am I changing my diet? Yes, I changed, I'm eating my species-specific diet, I'm doing the 80-10-10. But the 80-10-10, our ideal diet, and I'm not saying 10% fat's the right percentage, but our ideal diet doesn't satisfy all of our nutritional needs. That's what we have to understand. Well, wait a second. How can it be our ideal diet if it doesn't satisfy all of our nutritional needs? Well, I've said it over and over and over and over again, haven't I, in my videos? Things have changed. We've damaged ourselves. The environment. We can't get the B12 from the environment like we used to. If Brian Clement is right, our appendix has shrunk and we're not manufacturing B12 where he claims we supposedly manufactured it. I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. And I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. Nothing infuriates me more when you ask somebody something and they give you some idiot response because they feel like they got to say something, otherwise they'll look stupid. Not realizing they are looking stupid by giving you the idiotic response. But I really refer more to what I see in health food stores when I can tell the clerk doesn't know and doesn't want to appear to be, not knowledgeable. But I'm not afraid to walk the fence on a lot of subjects. I know there's so much I don't know. When it comes to the art, I said this before, there's not a living person on this planet who understands the art well enough to be able to address everybody's problems. People come to me all the time and say, I got this and I got this and I got this, what do I do? Well, spend 2 more hours with me and let me find out what you're doing and what you've done. And look at all the other pieces that might play a role. Have you been damaged? Where do you live? Can we eat a raw food diet way up north? I don't live there, don't ask me. I hear stories of people doing it. I know the fruits, most of the food's got to be shipped up, and that's more expensive, so it's not as easy. And that leads me to the second main reason why, or the biggest problem, what's wrong with our ideal diet of raw food. And that is that not enough of us are eating it. And that means the world's not set up to produce this need. It's all about supply and demand. Right now, the demand's not that great. So when people make idiotic comments, and they really are thoughtless comments, I don't know if you're regurgitating something else someone else said somewhere else and you think it sounds good, that we can't feed the world, we can't feed 7 billion people a raw vegan diet. Well, not right now. And it's not going to happen tomorrow. Are you giving any thought to this at all? Well, if we demanded 7 billion people to eat raw food, we can't do it. Well, the demand's not there, don't you see? It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be gradual. And as the demand increases, what happens? Well, we know what happens, don't we? You go to the grocery stores now and you see organic food everywhere. Why is that? Demand, supply and demand. I guarantee you when we want something, somebody's going to be there to give it to us because that's how we're set up now with this exchange mentality. Until we finally get reconnected and change our collective mentality, that's how we're going to be doing it initially, for the profit. But there is the motive is there. Once we get reconnected, then we'll have the right mentality and we'll want to do it because we know that's how we make our lives better. But as the demand increases, I guarantee you we're not going to have a hard time figuring out how to feed the world. And the point here that I keep saying over and over, and I hope most of you understand this, and if you don't understand anything I say, go ahead and spend some time and learn some more. We got to reach the tipping point. This is that critical mass that takes us forever to reach. And they came out several years ago and they said, we found the number, it's 10%. And I said, oh, really? I've been kind of guesstimating that, I think, probably because everyone else was guesstimating. I don't know where I came up with it, but really 10%? Okay, 10% is that number. And if we think about it also, in our day with the information systems the way they are, if we weren't so sick, it wouldn't take 10%. If we weren't in a sick world, as soon as someone found, hey, I found the mistake, we shouldn't do this. And sure enough, it's true. Everyone would know about it instantly. So maybe because of the way the system is set up and we're constantly being brainwashed, the masses are, that it may take more than 10% to reach the tipping point. I don't think so. I really do believe once we get enough people, the 100th monkey phenomenon, once the 100th monkey washes the grit off the sweet potato by putting it in the water, all the monkeys know about it. So that's what we got to do, reach the tipping point. Once we reach the tipping point, it'll be we're getting closer and closer. The supply is meeting the demand, and once enough of us hit the tipping point, we might have some supply problems in the beginning. I can foresee that. But guess what's going to happen? Everyone's going to be eager to make that happen. Why? Because we reached the tipping point. Again, we can't even wrap our brain around what is going to happen when that happens. And I try to fantasize about it all the time, and I know I'm just, dreaming away, but it's a fun dream, and it's within our grasp. That's what we have to realize. So are there problems with the raw vegan diet? Well, right off the bat, yes. It's only one group of needs. It doesn't meet all of our nutritional needs. And just because it doesn't mean it's not our ideal diet. It's based on the anatomy we were born with. We have a species-specific diet. That's one of our anatomical limitations. We have to respect that. The other group of needs is based on the other anatomical limitations for making the mistakes to ourselves and the environment. So, we see comments all the time, don't we? I tried the diet, it didn't work for me. Well, let's think about this. If you were the rules of the world and you knew that this was an idea, the time has come, would you send out trolls to these message boards and say, oh, I did the diet, it killed me. My mother did it, she died. My mother was in this and it killed her. No. All these stories. You don't think there's a motive behind a lot of the bullshit we hear? And this is something interesting. I learned as a young man when I was learning how to market my profession. And what I learned is when you try to help someone purchase something, if you believe in your product, you know you're helping that person. What you get many times are objections, saying, oh, I don't want this because of this reason. And your job to really help that person was to really find out if that's the true objection, what the hidden objection is. And what we find and what was so fascinating is that people will make up a lie, many times just not to hurt your feelings. They might not like your product whatsoever, but they'll say, oh, I just don't have the money. And of course, your job is, well, if I can prove to you that you'll actually save money, well, you'll go ahead and do it now. They go, no, not really, because the money's not the problem. It's just that I don't like the product. Okay, well, now you told me. But the problem with this, and this is what we learned, is that once people make up that lie, that something happened, they believe it so firmly that it's actually a positive memory. So when we hear people who have been telling stories to their grandchildren over and over and over, they've said it so many times, they believe it so much, man, they can start crying on you. Grandma must have been telling the truth. Look at her. Well, golly, people went through some hard times, and they create a lot of suffering for people. I sure would not have wanted to spend any time inside a work camp. But then to come out of that and be so pissed off that you make up lies and say, oh my God, they were gassing everybody. And the man who knows more about this subject than anybody says, every eyewitness account I've read was bullshit, because it's impossible for it to happen the way they were told it was supposed to happen. Because he's the expert, he knows. So, this is what we're up against. Our belief system is huge. The biggest problem with our belief system is the false belief that cooking is an art. That's the biggest objection, or biggest objection. One of the biggest obstacles we have. It's the main reason why we can't find the raw vegan message. And once you find it, you got to make sure you don't find someone who doesn't see the big picture and is still screwing up the law, cause, and effect like the 80-10-10 guy did. There are 3 ways to screw up the law, cause, and effect. 80-10-10 screws up the law, cause, and effect because it doesn't recognize what happens after the effect. That's the ripple effect, where effects can become causes. Now we can still have problems when we move the primary causes and eat our ideal diet because we've damaged our body. You see? So this is one way to screw up the law of cause and effect. If you don't recognize what comes after the effect, the ripple effect, effects becomes cause as in the causal loop, effects become knowledge as in the knowledge loop. We have to understand how that works. And this is what most natural hygienists don't understand. So when people follow a natural hygiene lifestyle, they do their best to say, look, we got to satisfy all of our needs, which of course is another thing we have to consider when people don't do the program right. I changed my diet, but it didn't work. Well, that's only one of your needs. You got to satisfy all your needs. So a lot of people might be eating the right diet, but they're doing everything else wrong. Who knows? They might be living under the water. I tried your diet and I died within 2 minutes. Couldn't breathe. Yeah, it was the wrong diet. So you got to satisfy all your needs, obviously. And a lot of people aren't doing that. And then a lot of people don't know that there's not just those essential needs from the law of cause and effect, but you got those additional temporary needs from the ripple effect. So how do we help these people who tried the diet and it didn't work? The best way we can help you guys is for you to take a more active role, look at your symptoms, figure out what it ties back into, find the organ that might be impaired and therefore not functioning. Look at your kidneys, your adrenals, make sure you're filtering your lymph system, because almost all of our diseases are coming from our lymph system backing up into the body. All of our immune systems, our immune, what are those diseases called? God, I can't believe I can't think of the word. What is the name of that word? I can't believe it's. Isn't that weird how you say a word over and over and all of a sudden you can't even think about it? Pemphigus, diabetes, type 1, on and on and on, arthritis, autoimmune diseases. Golly, man, was that a brain fart or what? Anyway, all those diseases, the body's attacking itself. Yeah, in a way, the lymph system's backing up. Most of our diseases come from the lymph system backing up. So we have to understand how to solve those problems. I go into those, how to do that in more detail, or I explain the disease process in more detail in 2 of my videos, Healing Secrets Revealed and Medicine is the Ultimate Tool of Control. And I explain how the body goes through a disease process. And then we have to understand there's 2 groups of needs we have to satisfy. Our ideal diet, there's a problem with it because there's another group of needs. And obviously there's going to be a problem with it. If we're not living where we ideally should be living, and the world's not set up to feed us properly. So you guys are the ones that are going to have to fine-tune this and help the rest of us understand this. And if we can ever reach the tipping point, who knows what this world will be like in the future. We'll finally have free energy for everyone. Again, this goes back to our belief system. Here's another can of worms that I shouldn't open up, and I am. But let's not go into any detail on this. I don't want to put a bunch of garbage in my YouTube channel. And that is what the role Einstein played, and to take the focus off the works of Maxwell and Tesla, so that our so-called experts wouldn't learn about how everybody would have free energy. Now, why is that? Remember, the people who rule the world have so much money. It's not about how much they have, because they got too much already. It's how much we have. They got to keep us poor. It's a state of feudalism, neo-feudalism, and a big expense for us is our energy expense. And we shouldn't have one. All we need is a little antenna, and everyone can have free energy everywhere on this planet. Everywhere on this planet. Think about it. And if good old Bucky was still alive, Mr. Trim Tab himself, if Buckminster Fuller was still alive, or even if he wasn't, but if we had our act together when he was alive, everyone on this planet would have little geodesic domes. Our whole planet would be covered and surfaced with geodesic domes everywhere. Everyone would have free housing. The tropic areas where all the food grew, there'd be so many places to live. There'd be more to house. I don't know how many billions of people. All 7 billion people, if they wanted to, they could relocate and be in little geodesic domes with little antennas, getting free electricity, have little electric motors in your car with a little antenna, free energy. We shouldn't be paying for gas. We live in a sick world. We're not coming close to our potential. And it's all about being controlled and not letting us find the right information. What you have to realize is that the people who rule the world misdirect everything. They take heroes and turn them into villains. They take plagiarists and turn them into heroes. It reminds me of the book Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, which the book really starts out funny. If you haven't read the book, it's worth just reading the book to listen to how it starts off. I'm not going to tell you, it's going to be a teaser for you. Anyway, he says that in the world we have takers and we have leavers. And the leavers believe that they belong to the world, but the takers believe that the world belonged to them. And the leavers told a story to warn everybody about the takers. And guess what happened? The takers came in, took that story, and they said, we're the leavers, they're the takers. Same thing's happening today with certain people right now. Same exact thing is happening right now. That they're saying, look at us. You know, don't attack us, we're the good guys, and it turns out they're not. If you want to understand what I'm talking about now, read Yusuf Molin's book, The Curse of Canaan. You'll love it. Fascinating book. This man was brilliant. If you don't know who Yusuf Molins is, you will very soon, because I'm going to do a video on him. Interestingly, I'll tell you just a little bit about him. I had one of his books for over a decade on my computer and never got around to reading it. When I did, it made me want to look more into the man, because I'd heard about him many times from other places, but never paid attention to what else he had written. And I'll tell you more about that. I'll do a separate video on that. In fact, I may do 2 or 3 videos today. I got so many ideas I want to share. Thanks to you guys out there. I'm telling you, I'm supposed to play tennis in just a few moments. I don't know if I can even do it. I was so excited yesterday. First time in my life. I never ate all day because I wasn't hungry. I was so excited. Got a call from Ronnie over out in UK. Talked to Simon. You guys are having a blast over there. You made my day. It's so exciting that we're waking up all around the world. The Vegetable Police, my God, what a great guy. What you've done for this movement, man, I can't thank you enough, and you know that. We need to talk. I want to help you on what you're doing. Contact me. I want to find out where you're at, what you're doing. I want to help you doing what you're doing to make sure you're doing it the best you can, so that you can be the great example you already are. You're a great example for this community. And I've often thought many times that I should pursue the angle you're pursuing. I think it's brilliant. And I know my life would be more fun if I went that direction. And I got the best topic ever. I know I can get a laugh every time I talk, because everyone laughs about potty humor. But anyway, special thanks to all you guys. I don't know how I'm going to fare tomorrow. I came in late last night after a bike ride, and I didn't really have any fruit available at the time. So all I did is I ate a huge salad. I know my carbohydrate fuel take is probably, I don't know. The bike ride didn't burn many carbohydrates. I'd probably at least have a quarter to half a tank of carbs left. I think I can still go out and play tennis for about an hour. Anyway, gotta run. Thanks everybody. I know I'm still deleting some of y'all's messages, and I'm gonna do a special video to help you understand how different personalities work. I want my community to work good together. I want to help you all understand where a lot of conflict comes. I've already done a video on that, a little bit about the personalities, but I'm going to help understand why a lot of people want to have a tendency to look at the details and go down the rabbit hole. But I'm getting ahead of myself. These are the type of videos you'll be seeing in the upcoming days. And a big thank you to every one of you guys. We are the Trim Tabs, and when we are in for a treat. Boom.